I'll pop it up there and you'll be able to see.
Yeah.
Okay, we're live.
Yay.
All you.
Sweet. Well, welcome to Hemp and Healing Grassroots. I am your host, Stacy McCaskill from Hempstock Farms. And today, Jane Colby is with us in the house. I'm so excited to have you here, Jane. Thank you for coming in. And this is our weekly podcast. We've really been faithful, sticking to it. And if you're catching this not live, which I think everybody is right, will be because nobody's here yet. Make sure you go check out our other episodes. They're all on loaded up on YouTube, and you can go watch previous episodes and you can share them with people if you think there was anything interesting that we said that was worth sharing. And basically the way our routine works is I have a thought of the day, kind of like a saying or some kind of quote that was inspired me that week. Then we have a theme. Our theme this last couple of episodes has been kind of meeting the heart and soul of Hempstock Farms. So we've kind of been introducing ourselves to you by going through all of the people that work for Hempstock Farms and why they got into that. And that's why Jane's here today. We're going to learn more about Jane. But I am going to continue the theme of our kind of little topic we've been talking about each week, which is the CBD program with the government and how that's working. I'm going to go through another article. I don't want to spend too much time because it's can really run down a rabbit hole, but I do want to continue that theme. And then after we do talk maybe a little about a theme or introduce an article or something that's in the news, then we have our goal is to have a guest each week just to learn something new. And then we kind of will wrap it all up. And then that's our weekly little video podcast. Great. So that's what it is. All right. So let's get started with the thought of the day. So I'm reading this book. It's called Change the World, How Ordinary People Can Accomplish Extraordinary Results. This book is by, it's the guy that writes it, Robert E. Quinn. If you want to go out and get it, it's a really good one. Or you can come into the shop, have a boba, and sit down and read a couple of chapters. So that on the upside. So super cool how to change the world. I want to be inspired by this book because that's what we're all seeking to do is change that. I think every human on the planet kind of has this natural instinct to want to be the hero, change the world, do some amazing things. So there's a great quote in there, chapter 2, which is entitled Envision the Productive Community. And they put a quote in here from Dr. Martin Luther King. And he says, I quote, "Nonviolent resistance does not seek to defeat or humiliate the opponent, but to win his friendship and understanding. The aftermath of nonviolence is the creation of the beloved community, while the aftermath of violence is tragic bitterness."
Couldn't agree more.
When I reread this, as I was revisiting, I picked this book up and wanted to see how far I had gotten. I was kind of revisiting. When I read that, it made me think about just everything that we're doing right now and how when you get resistance, like we're doing a kind of nonviolent resistance, right? When you do any kind of activism, when you go to do lobbying, when you show up at town hall, this is all a type of nonviolent resistance in my mind. And that what this quote kind of prompts me to think about is how I think sometimes I struggle with turning what has the intention of being nonviolent resistance. And then when you face some kind of unjust opposition to your nonviolent resistance. Like, we have every right to do this thing. Like, I can stand on this street corner and talk to people, like that's a right. It's not against the law, kind of thing. And then someone tells you, get off of that street corner. Our initial response is not to respond with loving kindness, with like additional nonviolent resistance. I think our natural tendency is to be kind of self-righteous and emboldened and want to, in a way, do what maybe should be labeled like relationally violent resistance. Kind of like, you're bad, I'm right. You're wrong, I'm right. And then all of a sudden now, since you're counting yourself as being righteous and the other person as being the opposite, non-righteous, right? So now it's a psychological war. It's a psychological violence, because now you're emboldened to not to seek that person's friendship and understanding, but to want to prove to them, you're wrong, I'm right. That's violent resistance. And so it's just like, I've been reminded of this, like, I really need to check myself. And when I'm doing what I feel is nonviolent resistance, and I get resistance, that I need to not forget the second part, that nonviolence resistance, beyond just not seeking to defeat or to humiliate, but that it's to seek to win friendship and understanding. And you've never won somebody's friendship or understanding by saying, you're not the boss of me, right? So I don't know. That's my thought of the week, is just how, you can be really righteous in your fight for justice and face opposition. Just make sure that the love is always there, and the goal is not to win, but to win over, to like truly develop some kind of deeper understanding. And I think it checked me a little bit, just even as I like talk to the city, and you talk to the health department, and you talk to all, whatever it is, whether it's regulation or taxation or representation or Democrat versus Republican, whatever it is, if we can be reminded that it's the goal of resistance is to build friendship and understanding with the very person who is oppressing you.
I mean, sure. I mean, that is definitely a perspective.
It's not hard to do, right? It's impossible.
I mean, we can widen back even further. I mean, the whole thing is a hero's journey, right? We're all on a hero's journey about, I am this, I am not that. Like, I fight for good. I fight for, whatever it is. We all have it. It's like written. It's every play. It's every. It's almost like Hollywood, right? So we all have a hero's journey. But if we wind it back, we're in a dual kind of plane of existence. You need right and wrong, left and right. It's all part of the ability to. It's all part of the whole. So you need both sides to have the contrast, almost like a negative, a film negative. One side looks light, but on the other side it's dark where there was light, right? So if you can say, wow, this is just one perspective of this one situation. This is my hero's journey. Everybody else has their own. And I look at it as almost like a simulation. I mean, quite frankly. And if I can widen back far enough, I recognize that what I see out there is really what's going on here.
Mm.
And so my world is really about finding that peace within myself, and aligning with kind of my truest nature, my most authentic self, and recognize that we're all, like, for me, I believe that we're all pieces of all that is, and we all have our unique perspective, that almost like a particular note in a song. Universe is one song.
Mhm.
We're all here kind of shining our authentic, unique self into this world, and offering all that is that unique perspective. Because there's never going to be another Stacy, I guarantee, and there's not going to be another me
Jane
and you or
Colby.
anything. But that's true for everyone. And so it's kind of, I don't know. I feel a little more loving towards all of my fellow brethren that are all on their own hero's journey, doing their own thing. And my reflection of them is really coming from my internal state.
Mm.
Like, we could see an accident happen, 30 people, and you would get 30 different perspectives based on, the filters they're seeing light through. So you have to kind of, people react to things so differently, but you never know where they're coming from, what they've been. I think even some of the most traumatic times in our life is where we create the most gold, where we alchemize the most of our soul's journey. So, yeah, it's a little bit different than kind of black and white, but
Right.
It helps my peaceful state of mind. But yeah, I think, yeah, that's why we're all here, is we're all
Right.
trying to be our authentic self, really.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, I need to learn to be nicer.
inside, be nice to yourself then, eh? Okay?
Yeah, I guess that's what it
You
is.
know?
Yeah.
Start like loving that self.
Right. Yeah. And not expecting, I don't know. Yeah, that everybody says it all the time, first seek to understand before, seeking to be understood and all that kind of thing. But to like do in real life, it's
But
just
look
hard.
it's
hard.
I don't know. We're all sharing kind of this sort of reality, right? And there's the news cycles are maximized to produce the biggest cortisol, spikes, and our amygdalas are on constant battering from all of the tension that we see out there.
Right, right.
So that's why I think it's just even more important than ever to just kind of go within and find that protect your peace, because since I've focused on what I want to see and where I want to put my energy and attention, it's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful world. And my rhythms of any kind of like stuff that I don't get all of the garbage anymore. It doesn't seek me out because I don't give it attention. And now what comes towards me is more just plant education, things that where it's about growth and simplicity and health and wholeness. And so I think it is whatever you're seeking, and if you give away your attention without being discerning, that's what you will find in your landscape.
Yeah.
So we have to be discerning with our, and it's a form of self-love. I mean, what we put in our bodies and whether it's food, drinks, media, all of it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's segue into, and because I want to get back to interviewing you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But I want to continue. We have I have one more article. We're going to continue this CBD and cornbread hemp kind of saga here. I want to continue. And I am approaching this very lovingly. We do all this.
No
just
video
one
now,
running.
he
And then
says.
do you,
There you go. Okay.
then you splice it later.
No, it's just the whole
Um,
thing downloads.
that
and then you
should be
can splice
back.
it later.
Wait,
Yeah.
that didn't. Was that your mic hookup though?
No,
No. Okay. We should be back.
should be all back then.
I mean, I guess there's one good
Yeah.
way to find out.
One easy way to find out. Turn it up and see. Test,
I
test,
guess
test.
there's one
One,
good
two.
way to find out.
Yep, we're good to
Okay.
go.
I mean,
All right,
we're
now
good.
We're back
figured
live,
it out.
back live in the studio.
Okay.
You know, working through things here.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah.
That was something. But
So, okay,
Talking about
that's something.
cornbread.
So cornbread. So to explain how, I just think it's. Let me pull that back up again. Okay, so the piece to recenter this article, we're continuing talking about the day that Trump came and announced that you're going to be able to get $500 worth of CBD, and this is how it's going to work. And then a couple of weeks ago, maybe it's been a month now, we found out that there was all the press about cornbread hemp and how they got this contract with a group purchasing organization. Well, all that didn't come out. What first came out was cornbread hemp exclusive provider for, CBD for the government kind of thing. And then we researched it, and what we've talked about so far is that the way that it works is this is actually, it's quite interesting as I looked into it a little bit more, and I actually know a little bit more about it since the last podcast, which is that this program is to gather data to test to see whether or not when CBD is prescribed, does that reduce overall healthcare costs? So, and then the way that they've designed the study is that it's Medicare providers. So you basically have Medicare approved like clinics and doctors and that kind of thing. And they see Medicare patients. And then as part of them seeing a doctor or receiving services of some type that's covered by Medicare, if that provider decides or they believe that providing CBD for whatever the person is in there for, that it's going to be more effective than prescribing opioids or going and getting physical therapy or whatever, they make that decision. And if they decide to do that and to prescribe that, then they prescribe it and then they also dose it at the same location. So I'm saying you need CBD. Here, I have a jar of cornbread hemp gummies to give you. Here you go. And then that counts towards your $500 that you get that year.
But it's an isolate.
Yeah, well, according to all the research I've done on it so far, the full spectrum is allowed up until November 13th. And then it has to go to an isolate. Unless they pass some law that does a carve out for that specific program. So what's interesting about it is like I think they were, these two plans, the plan to crush hemp and this plan to test CBD within the healthcare system and let the government actually see if they can reduce their overall healthcare costs by utilizing these cannabinoids and to do a test to see that works. And I think these two things happen in their own silos and they're largely uncoordinated.
I don't know. Here's what I think is happening. I think that the pharmacy, pharmacological, whatever, big pharma people has lost a lot of customers to natural healing plants.
Okay.
And they're trying to now control that market too. And, because I think the gig is up, in a way. I think people have recognized that, a lot of things that are good for us are not, it's not that our best interests are at hand. It's how can we be a good consumer, and how can we repeat our visits,
Yeah.
etc. How much money are we able to make them?
Mhm.
And but plants provide, full spectrum of all plants. I mean, provide full spectrum medicine. I mean, that's where they all got their ideas from. You
Mhm.
can't patent plant. So what they've done is keep the knowledge down.
Well, unless you
And
genetically
then
modify it.
synthetic, and then
Then you
synthesize
can
like
patent.
single. But this isn't. But all of their stuff, So they're. So basically, what I'm feeling is that they're seeing a trend, and they're trying to control the money and the healing, and because people are waiting to get their cortisol shots later because the CBD cream is helping their knee longer, or
Right.
they're not taking the narcotics at night to go to sleep because it's CBD is helping them sleep or whatever. Well, guess what? They think that they own healing. You know what I mean? It's
Well, my opinion is that if this thing is supposed to be rolled out already, and if anybody is getting cornbread hemp CBD right now, that is a full spectrum product, unless they decided to roll out an isolate just to sell to this group purchasing organization.
full spectrum.
A full spectrum.
Yeah.
So if they rolled out an isolate instead, just for this program.
Yeah.
And that, because all they do is full spectrum.
Anyways.
They don't do an isolate product. So my point about it is that I don't think the data that is collected is going to be useful if right now people are taking full spectrum CBD, and then come November, they won't be able to get full spectrum anymore. It'll switch to isolate, but you're collecting data that's saying that it's effective. And then all of a sudden you switch the cannabinoid profile, and it's going to become ineffective in some situations. So I think
less effective, I guess.
well, you're measuring two separate
Right.
things, two completely separate products, and you're throwing it into the same study. That's what I think it's problematic with them rolling it out when, I don't know how fast they got, because it has to be sold to this GPO group, and then the clinics have to order it from them, and then they got to deliver it there, and then once they get it to the clinic, then the clinic's got to subscribe it. That's a long supply chain, and I'm thinking, I don't know what they decided to do. If anybody is in this program and is seeing a Medicare professional and you're getting CBD through this program, please reach out to us. I would love to hear what your experience is, and whether you were provided with a full spectrum CBD product or with an isolate CBD product. And then that kind of answers that question right there.
Yeah.
But anyways, to be continued. I'm going to
Yeah.
continue researching it. And I just think it's interesting to try to understand, what's going on there, and keep our customers educated. So that's what that's about. So Jane, this is Jane Colby, everybody. Jane's been with Hemp Stock Farms almost since day one, but I want you to tell your own story and introduce yourself, and then tell us what brought you to across the street over to Hemp Stock Farms, literally.
Oh, well, so I could make a long story short or a short story long, but so I'm going to start a little bit back when I was younger. So I grew up in the middle of a forest preserve on 1,100 acres with no neighbors. My parents were both they both had professional jobs, but they're both master gardeners, and we had
In Chicago.
In a suburb,
in a suburb,
in
yeah.
Barrington, actually. My dad was chief landscape architect for County Forest Preserve, and then my mom was actually a League of Their Own Women, like one of the youngest pitchers on the team and everything. And so when I was little, she was my gym teacher at grade school, and then she got her master's at night with 6 kids and became our guidance counselor. Anyways, but we had chickens, bees, rabbits, 2-acre gardens, and all that stuff, and that's how I grew up. So fast forward, I went into the hospitality industry as far as hotel restaurant management and managing like the Drake Hotel, and then I went into sales, and then was traveling all over the world. But all the time, no matter where I lived, I was always involved in gardening, and always had container planting out. I lived in the city. I was growing eggplants and peppers and all that stuff, and
cool.
had visions of starting like a garden center where I would install vertical gardens for people, and lettuce in their little flower boxes and things like that. And, but I didn't pursue that. So I traveled all around, and then when it came time to have kids, we were living in the city, and I was like, I can't raise them in a jungle, area. So we found ourselves back in Woodstock, and I've raised my kids here for 23 years. And when I was home with the kids, I was, part of the Woodstock Garden Club, and, just always just really enjoyed it. And the cool thing is we found a home that backs up to 200 acres of protected wetlands.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, the original scene with not a lot of neighbors and a lot of wildlife and stuff like that. So this is like a cool
Like where you grew up as a kid.
As a kid.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So this is just, that's a core passion that's run through my life. And during that time of working and traveling all the time, I went through a divorce at that time. So I was like, I'd travel a week, and then I'd have the kids for a week, and then I'd travel a week, and then I'd have the kids for a week. And, it's a lot of stress and a lot going on to be the breadwinner. And so, that COVID hit, the hospitality industry was massively upended. I went from, being 2 million over goal to being redundant.
Right.
So I got so I went into virtual payment in the hospitality space, which was so weird. They also went, this is right before COVID. So again, they also went through this, but this was a whole different aspect of hospitality. This became like virtual payments without using credit cards, and doing this in a corporate space. And, growing up, I really wasn't a fan of math, kind of like, and so the joke wasn't lost on me. Like, what am I doing in that part of the industry? Like, this is not it's not my passion. But COVID, COVID was wicked, and I lost that job. And then I took a job. I took a job title for a crypto company. I didn't even know. I mean, honestly, I think I was just so caught up in trying to appear that I was going to keep my high paying job and do all this, and, going through my nervous system reset. My nerves were shot from all of this, curveballs in life. And anyway, I took this job as vice president of business development for this crypto software, where a company could install the software potentially, and somebody could pay with crypto, and the place would get cash. Now, I didn't know any crypto, I didn't know anything about it, but conceptually I did a little bit in the virtual payment. I'm like, I could sell this, sure, let's LFG, let's fucking go, right? And they didn't pay me anything. I got paid nothing. They're just like, this is a drop and drag. So whatever you put into it, when this software is eventually sold, you'll get a cut or whatever.
Right.
I'm thinking, I'm just a dupe, right? I don't know anything about anything. So eventually I ended up calling, and in the same time, I think I came over by you, and I was just like, hey, you need any help working on the farm? Because getting paid nothing isn't working for me. So I eventually called him,
and I said, I'll add 3 zeros to whatever you're earning right now. I'll have you at 4 figures in no time.
But it's just really funny. I mean, on paper. Anyways, I ended up taking it off my LinkedIn profile because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I mean, I set up a couple calls, nobody did anything.
Right.
And he's just like, take it off your resume. And I was like, absolutely, no problem. And then it took me a long time to just kind of settle into such a different lifestyle. I think I needed to really, my amygdala had been just smashed to pieces from all the different things that went on. But in the end, it was such a blessing, because I got a chance to really slow down.
Right.
Really, really, I had to. And I found through working with the plants and also just in there was a whole other healing journey that went on this too, because, as a woman, there's not a lot of ADHD identifiers, when you're younger, at least in my age group. I have 3 children and 2.5 of them have ADHD, one with a slight autism. And I was like, they say it's genetic. And I was just like, I'd never even thought about it before, never crossed my mind. And I, but a lot of the symptoms, a lot of the, once I started looking into
We
it.
might even need to give you a gummy halfway through this interview.
No. I'm fine.
Just
No,
kidding.
but what's interesting is, it started me thinking of like, well, how can I assist this process for my children, of course, and all. And come to find out that, well, I had genetic testing and found out that I have the MTHFR genetic variants. It's a gene. It's a gene mutation, which is it stands for methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. It doesn't mean motherfucker, but it should. But it's the body's inability to methylate folate, and folate's B9. And so when you don't have B9, the downstream effects of like your body limping along without the right ingredients is, ADHD, autism, cancer, heart disease, like all these different things, right? It's just your body not getting the basic building blocks. But you can counter it with like a methylfolate or folinic acid. But the problem is that in the U.S. they've decided to enrich all the rice grains, bread, cereals with folic acid, which is a man-made synthetic chemical. It's not grown anywhere naturally on the earth. And by consuming all of these foods, what happens is they become folate attractors to the receptors and they block it. So even if I was to take the right methylfolate or folinic acid, because I haven't detoxed the folic acid from everything else that's available in every processed food out of my system, I'm still not getting it. So we've got a bit of a detox issue. And I went on this whole, detox journey, and then lymph drainage and red light saunas and changing, doing some intermittent fasting. So it's just been this whole kind of thing. And also understanding, the way my neurodivergent brain works, which I'm here for this. Like now when I go down rabbit holes, I'm like, yes, because it's not like I'm overstimulated. Well, maybe overstimulated, but my brain's just working so much. And I sometimes find that, I go on and off. Sometimes I'll use, I'll have some THC, and sometimes I go months without.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm always, I find though that sometimes it helps calm my brain down slow enough that I can catch up with my thoughts sometimes, because I'm just interested in so many different things. So that was a very long story, but it was my hero's journey, right? So this is my dark night, going through, the curveballs in life, transmuting that into actually building a life for myself that authentically feels like home. Like this is my home. And, more is not better. I find that simpler is just what I'm looking for.
Right.
I'm looking for whole, simple, good. And that's what I bring, to work, is my focus on healing and wholeness and all of the amazing plants out there. So that's my thing. Is this is a really dangerous season for me, spring, because there's not a plant I don't like. And so, I'm building a veritable food forest in my backyard.
Yeah.
I'm constantly learning about all the different properties that Mother Nature brings to the table. And that's my sanity. It's Mother Nature. I mean, it's just, there's so much.
I think what's interesting to me, Jane, is that when we first met, as you tell that story, it's kind of like it's giving me a different perspective of what happened. because for me, part of the legitimacy and why I wanted you to come and work for me was because you were a hemp farmer and you were farming with your brother. And so there was like, we were fellow hemp farmers, not just neighbor, across the street kind of neighbors kind of thing. But it definitely explains to me, like, you really have spent probably the last 5 or 6 years of, it's like a PhD you've gotten. Like, I feel like you really leaned into researching all of this stuff and you've developed so much depth of knowledge. And then the job that you do running the shop out at the farm is all about sitting down with customers and talking to them and hearing their journey and what they're going through. Like, we're not a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, this is the thing.
No,
people come in and like, I mean, you develop relationships with these people, and sometimes our customers have sent you down rabbit holes, like researching stuff and looking into options. And I'll just say to everybody right now, if you come and sit and get a cannabinoid consultation with Jane, you're going to get much more than a cannabinoid consultation because Jane really does look at the person holistically, and we're not claiming to be medical doctors. We're not treating anybody, but sometimes you just need to talk to somebody who's willing to listen to you with with open ears, to go to any area. We tend to silo solutions of like, oh, you got that problem, you got to go see this kind of doctor. You got that problem, you got to go see. You want to, you've got a folate deficiency, you got to take this folate concentrate. Like, we tend to silo stuff so much. And
not okay with me.
That's and that's not Hemp Stock Farms.
It's
holistic. Like,
but here's the thing.
You might leave not buying any CBD.
I mean, I would never. I'm not a doctor, but definitely check with your doctor. If eating wholesome, nutritional food is bad for you, and if that would interfere with any of their meds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a medical doctor, but eating whole foods seems to be a good way to go. Yeah. Okay, so. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that.
No, and I skipped that part, and I didn't miss that part of the story. So back when I was working in the industry, because when I was home with the kids, I was part of the Woodstock Garden Club. I've always had my fingers in, of course, I had gardens and bees and all that stuff. But when the hemp bill, the farm bill was coming about, my brother-in-law and sister, they lived back where my parents moved after my dad retired. And I was like, you guys should grow this, because I'm looking at it. It's a solution plant. I'm such a huge fan of Mother Nature, but this plant brings it. I mean, you could probably use it for like 25,000 different things, this plant, in so many different ways. So that's where my excitement's coming from. Like, yes, this plant can do pretty much everything what we need right now. So I said it to my brother-in-law, like kind of tossing over, hey, you should do this, and they're super conservative and everything. And then and my sister's totally, and Carrie's just like, well, I'll do it if I have a partner. And I'm like, all right. So we grew, but we were just growing, for the oil, to sell the stuff. But then everybody jumped in, and then, price went, So for me, it was just a big kind of, with ADHD, I get really excited about things, and things kind of, I have so many ideas, right? It's that whole follow through. And I always knew it was just a hobby, like, I wanted to tinker around with it. And because I've always been a wage earner, my conditioning of how I make my living and all that stuff, I'm very much I get paid by the man. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So for me to try to run something as my own, I'm like, I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, right.
So better to come work for you.
Well,
and let you do something that I enjoy. But you know what I love is like it's never the same. I mean, there's always something different, and we're always creating, and there is like a hive mind. I mean, we're kind of that motley crew. You see it, we're all different, and we're all like uniquely but it all fits
Right.
nicely. And I think we just kind of move, we kind of catch what others miss, and it just all works,
Right.
flows, I guess.
I think we
Flows.
are all puzzle pieces,
Yeah,
and we've
for
got a
sure.
really nice arrangement, a piece of the overall tapestry. I think we have got a really attractive, set of puzzle pieces. But I do think the reason it's fun for you at Hempstock is because it gives you that hybrid of, you are kind of an entrepreneur, you are a creator, like you created our hemp heart, it was your idea to do the hemp heart honey, and
Well, you started it, and I just tweaked it.
Well, anyways, there's a lot of products,
That's
and
what
the joint muscle plus, that was your idea.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you get to be that creator, but then you don't have to do taxes and the boring stuff.
Well, yeah, I can do some of my own little, whatever. Yeah. Today.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah, no. I mean, I appreciate that, because there's stuff I don't like. That's the thing with, like, I mean, I'm not gonna keep labeling stuff ADHD, but there's a tendency to just have no energy for things that don't interest me or that aren't a passion of mine, and so I have to really just direct my attention towards those things that I'm into.
Yeah.
And find somebody to catch the detritus, because I can't do it. Like, I can't even force myself to do it. And thinking back to, like, when my son was in school and trying to make him do something, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
So.
But your will, I mean, I think sometimes when people hear that they think, I don't know. I think sometimes when young people hear that, they think, I'm just going to do whatever the heck I want. Whatever makes me happy. Cleaning the toilet does not make me happy. So I'm not going to, it doesn't bring me joy. So I'm not going to clean the toilet.
But I'll do it.
But you'll do the tough jobs. But you're saying you won't get sucked into a whole system where you're given 12 hours a day that's soul sucking.
Oh my God.
Just in order to achieve a certain status.
But I think that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's like, the best hours of our life just are like, I mean, it felt like just trying to get fucking blood from a stone, honestly. I met up with some of my counterparts like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
What a great group. I mean, really a fun tribe. I love the people that are attracted to that industry, really outgoing and fun, and probably a lot of age years, but super fun. Anyway, I could just feel the stress rolling off of them. They were just like, one lady had taken a leave of absence because of the tension with the new boss, just the drama, and it really, it was like, it just brought me right back to, like, remember how that feels. God, no, thank you. So, and they're just like, you look so happy. I'm like, yeah, I don't make any money, but I'm good. I'm eating grass, but I'm good. No,
I'm eating grass.
But you know what? But you know what? That's also part of the journey too. Is recognizing, a lot of. I mean, I've always had in the last, divorce, it's just different things. I've had to shave things back to be really more realistic and basic, which is fine, because the research I do and everything with the plants. I mean, there's weeds in our yards that are like 10 times more nutritious than what we could buy in the store. And, unfortunately they grow without being able to be patented and harvested. And so, then there's another industry that makes billions of dollars, trying to kill them with poison. But these things are there for us. And incorporating that into my life and just like allowing nature to be as supportive and nurturing as I don't know, it's a different lifestyle. It's just not, it's I'm not running on the rat race anymore. I'm actually authentically, like, in my body, in my home, and have my own time, like, to be in that space.
That's cool, Jane. And I think that's a huge, that is been a huge transition. I've seen that because I think in the very beginning, you were kind of ashamed to work at Hempstock.
I was ashamed about just being so traumatized. I couldn't fathom being so unable to like function like where I was at. And your kids were all at the age where
they just were the most expensive of their lifetimes. You know, right at that age where they transition out of the home, you know, where it's like,
They're still
it's literally the most expensive part was when you took the biggest hit on your income. So it was like a hit on the whole family, really. So there was a lot of family
it's
pressure.
all, but it's all beautiful. Like there's no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Again, like those are the things that I'm gonna remember the most, is like the greatest like gifts. At all of the challenges, I'm not gonna remember the nice times mostly,
Right.
maybe a few,
Right.
but for the most time, I'll remember like the tough teachers, the things I overcame, or like the challenges. It's a stretch, you know.
That's a good point.
And it's like the Japanese pottery, you know, they break.
Oh, that
and
they
then
break
fill
it,
and
yeah.
they put the gold in there, but gold by itself would be too soft. But that combination actually makes it stronger, and it's not that weakness in the. I don't know. It's like the crack that lets the grace in. You know,
That's cool.
it is. It's so whatever. You know, it's just that's just been my little what do I keep called simulation.
So, what? How much time do we have left? What are we? at?
8 minutes.
Oh, okay. We got plenty of time. Okay. So, what's something people don't see that you do on a regular basis at Hemp Stock Farms?
Okay,
Like
well,
people don't know that this is something like, I don't know, maybe something that, you know, it's a big part about your job, but like nobody really sees that you're,
I don't
people
know.
aren't aware of it,
I
or
don't know. I mean, I just, you know, I feel like I keep the shop, like I'm just always making sure we have everything that we need, and then if we don't, I let Noel know, and I'm always educating myself. That's like always going on. I'm also multitasking and doing like usually I do things in circles, you know, but a lot gets done.
I would add, and maybe Jane doesn't know Jane does this.
I don't probably don't.
yeah.
Everybody, so I've been with the company like 3 or so years, done just about everything for some period of time.
Right.
And all of it comes back to, I would never be comfortable in that if I didn't spend a week with Jane. So that everybody so far that has come in and been like, oh, like teach me about the products, things like that, we'll send them back to the farm and it's like, go spend a day with Jane.
Okay,
That
so
comfort.
yeah, I like to educate others on what I've picked up, and I
Yeah.
think that's been a theme through like my different careers. Is I can take whatever, like crypto, whatever, but I can talk, you know, take it and tell it in a story that will get key points across and try to make it easier for others.
Yeah.
I'll connect points. There's definitely a pattern recognition, and also being in sales and such. It's not that I'm trying to sell, but I'm trying to figure out like what is it that this product is offering and why would it be important. And so that's always my quest, is to figure out like how things work and how that might benefit, or what would be right, what would be a better fit.
I mean, I tell you what, I will not launch a product unless Jane has a 100% stamp of approval on it. Because you believe every single product that we have, you believe in it. And you've researched it, you know what it can do, what it can't do. You know how it should be married to other things, that it shouldn't be, you know, in certain, you know, trying to, whatever your goals are, there, it's not a silo again, you know. So I really trust you in that way. And then the other thing, like what you were mentioning earlier about when you were in corporate, and then you're like, oh, I can sell crypto. It's the same thing as this kind of thing. Like, I really trust you and Noe, the whole team, really. But you specifically, because I think you're so emotionally honest.
Yeah.
Is that, and just real raw about it, you know, about whether you support something or not. I mean, there's no trying to figure it out. Like I know when you don't like something, you know. So but that's such a canary in the coal mine, because I think as hemp stock transitions from a CBD company, and then like that whole line of products going to be going away, and we had already been working on mushrooms. It's not like we're grabbing at mushrooms. You know, we've researched this 2 years, you know, so we were well on our way to developing a more broad apothecary line of products.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already happening.
So it was already happening, but as I think about that, I just think the only way that I think a lot of other companies will grab onto whatever that's going to save them. But I mean, I've told you and I've told the boys when we've been over there in the kitchen, you know, that if you guys aren't 100%, you know, like if you got a mushroom blend you want to make, you better be 100% for it, because we all need to keep, we're not just grabbing products. Like we all need to be true believers of what we're making. And if we can't make something that we are true believers of, then it's going to fail, because that's just not who we are. We're not Chicago hustle salesmen.
Yeah, no,
you know,
this
we're
is
like,
not about showing anything.
no,
Actually, that's the thing is and that's where I see us is as a place where people can get like truly nourishing products that they can't get anywhere else, like aronia berry juice. I mean, aronia berries are one of the most highest antioxidant berries out there. If you look at the ORAC score, which is like the oxygen radical oxygen radical absorption count, whatever. It's how they rate the antioxidant power. Blueberries rank 4,000. I mean, that's great. And it's a really good everyday kind of antioxidant. Elderberries, they rank 13,000. So 3.5 times blueberries. Aronia berries, 16,000. 4 times the antioxidant power of blueberries. I mean,
wow.
The anthocyanins, you know, the phytonutrients in that go through like a nice little washing machine. So like those products, you can't get it at, you can get it in the grocery store.
And there's a caloric efficiency to that.
Yeah.
There's a caloric efficiency to like, how many blueberries do I have to eat to get this antioxidant value, to how many, you know, aronia berries do I have to eat to get this antioxidant power? There's a caloric savings there, or an efficiency. And I think that's part, I mean, that's kind of like you're eating a ton of sugar.
I wouldn't focus on that, because, you know, blueberries have fiber and everything like that. This is the whole plant. I mean, it's a whole food. I mean, maybe, yeah, compared to any kind of a fruit drink that you would get in the store that's, you know, been cooked off and, you know, all the different processes. And I just feel like people are going to get away from the processed foods. I mean, they're finding out all the different, you know, seed oils are just, they stay in your body forever and cause lots of inflammation. And they're really high in omega-6. And once you get that imbalance between the omega-3s and omega-6, you know, now you're fighting inflammation. And then anyway, it's what they're putting in it's what's in the foods. It's the processes of the foods that are causing so much inflammation. And so I think people are going to lean more to whole foods and cleaner eating. And, you know, they're even now making lab grown meat. So no, they're going to try to sell it. No, seriously, they're going to sell it like, oh no, animals were hurt in this, and we don't need the farmland. They're trying to get everybody to stop eating meat, but they found a way to replicate and do this. What do they call it? Immortalization of the cell. So in order to get something to grow in the lab, you have to, especially at the scale they want, you have to have the cell like dividing, you know, blah, blah, blah. So they have to break basically what they're finding in over like 50% of the cancers is these, what they're calling the gene guardians. I can't remember it's PB53 and PT1. I can't remember the exact, but there's 2 of them. And basically what happens is when a cell decides to start dividing uncontrollably, it stops that cell division and either sends it for DNA repair or cell death. Okay. So this is your tumor repression. What they're finding with the lab grown meat is just by only the 2nd generation of that cell division, these 2 guardians are gone. They've been you know, ruined.
Right out.
So there's no long-term studies on what happens to somebody that consumes something that has that tumor guardian that's been, you know, because we are kind of what we eat, but it's been approved by the FDA. So be very careful what you eat, people. I'm just saying. It doesn't all make sense.
Yeah.
And
yeah, just because it's FDA approved.
so I mean, I think you want to know your local farmers and
Yeah.
get your good food and
Know your farmer.
and that's the other thing that I'm kind of excited about. And I know we chatted and you probably, it's not like it's a new idea, but I really feel like microgreens are a great solution.
Oh, so that's our last question for you, Jane. What are you working on right now that is super exciting?
Well, so again, we're again talking about nutrition, but microgreens have like 20 to 100% more like sulforaphane for broccoli sprouts than, and I'll sprout. There's a difference between sprouts and microgreens in the name and how they're grown, because but what we do with microgreens, but again, but still 20 to 100% more sulforaphane and more nutrients than the full size produce. Has been sprayed with any chemicals. Basically, the seeds contain like all the nutrition that this plant needs when it gets up to its 2 leaves. So I'm excited to bring that into the farm. We'll see where that goes. Also, I think a lot of there's a lot of going out in our civilization. And I think breath work is going to be really important. I think our lung health is going to be key. So I've been internally thinking, I haven't talked to you about it yet, but about a lung honey, that helps clear up, just his lungs. I know we do have the icy hot, which is great too. But I'm talking more like lung health stuff.
Yeah.
So, things like that. Anyhow, and again, also there's a lot of knowledge that has been lost. Now, I grew up in a very different situation than a lot of my counterparts. I mean, composting was secondhand. I mean, all of it, chickens, there's just a whole cycle to it. But we've lost knowledge on how to, make sour, ferment foods and do all these natural things,
right.
I make my own yogurt. I mean, I've turned you and your mom onto it.
I know. Yogurt. Yeah.
There's because there's a gut microbe, Lactobacillus reuteri, that they found there was a scientist that studied it for 40 years, and he said it used to be everywhere, like you could find it anywhere, all over the planet. But through antibiotics and stuff like this over his career, he saw it dissipate, couldn't find it. He's where it's going on. This microbe travels from the gut up to the breast for when a mother's breastfeeding her child, and it is inoculated into the baby's gut at that point. And Lactobacillus reuteri is responsible for oxytocin production, T-cell production. We get a lot of our hormones and stuff that are produced in our gut. And so, so this other scientist picked up on, what he was saying, and he found a group in Norway, but one of the Nordic countries, and they had the Lactobacillus reuteri in a capsule form for lactating women for their program. So we ordered some, and he tried to make yogurt with it, which yogurt's traditionally 120 degrees for 4 hours, and killed it all. Found out that if he cooked it at 99 degrees for 36 hours, so 99 close enough to the human body temperature, he could grow the Lactobacillus reuteri to the maximum amount before die-off sort of thing. And they fed it to rats. The rats started growing hair back and having more sex and sleeping and being all like, woo-hoo. So after he started eating
that's why my mom's libido's up and she's wanting to find a
she wants amazing. No, but so he ate it, he had good results, gave it to his patients, and I wrote a book, Super Gut, and it talked about the beneficial, but also how to make it.
Right.
And so
you came down to Florida and you brought that as a gift to my mom.
Yeah.
It was awesome because she was like, I don't like yogurt. I don't like yogurt. My mom's very particular about what she likes and doesn't like. She's like, I don't like yogurt.
Yep.
And we made that yogurt. Now she's like cooking it and adding hemp hard honey to it.
She eats it all the time.
She eats it all the time, and even our flopped batches that didn't quite set up. She's drinking the juice off of it, and then we make it almost makes like a cream cheese.
Yeah, like a nice spread, and then you put that
spread on it. So good.
So good. Yeah, so I'd love to do classes, tell people how they can make it, because the struggle I have is trying to find the right yogurt maker that I could tamp the time and the temperature.
Right.
A lot of them are all preset. So I went through 3 yogurt makers before I finally got it, and and I have a girlfriend called me. She's like, "Hey, show me." I'm like, "Sure." But my dogs love it. Chickens, everybody. Everybody loves it.
Right.
So, yeah, so I'm excited. I'm like, there's just so much good stuff, and I just think people should get back to like, digging in the dirt. I mean, there's just we have disconnected ourselves from the outside so much. We need the infrared light that we get from the sun. We need, that first light of the day when we get outside, that blue light, that sets your circadian rhythm and your melatonin production for the day. And people are grounding on the earth. There's a low Gauss current. There's just like so many things. But I feel like, we keep taking away key pieces of what we thrive with, which is, vitamin D and sunshine and like our essential minerals, which you get from like a Celtic salt or something like that, and good magnesium. I mean, the Celtic salt has 3 different magnesiums in it. I just the basics.
Right.
And then eat really good food and don't eat all the time.
Yeah.
Because eating all the time, your body doesn't have a chance to go into autophagy. That's probably one of the most healthiest things you can do. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just sitting there.
Right. Yeah, we're not doctors.
All this stuff I like, but I don't know. I get so excited about it, and even like matcha tea, like the drink here. Okay, no, seriously, like if so many people like they have cancer and stuff, right? If I had cancer, you know what I'd do? I would do intermittent fasting. I would drink. I would wake up and have maybe some lemon water for the alkalizing effect. I'd suck on some Celtic salt to get my essential minerals up. And that helps the bile and the liver cleansing. Then, if I was doing coffee, I'd take some MCT oil because it has the medium chain triglycerides, the short and medium chain triglycerides, especially if it has C8 and C10, because it's the right size that turns into ketones, and I would blend it into my coffee like a latte, because the MCT and the caffeine, becomes smaller globules. MCT, that high fat, gives you sustainability, and the caffeine is like a metabolic booster, so that would help me with my intermittent fasting. It wouldn't spike anything,
right?
And then I'd go into whatever, and then I would have a matcha, because green tea and matcha have ECGC, which is really like an anti-cancer property to it. It's the polyphenols. And when you do matcha, you're actually eating the whole leaf, whereas tea, you're just like, you're tincturing the leaf.
Yeah.
And so I love that we have the matcha here. And then the other thing, you can't get this anywhere else in the US. Like, this is exciting, right?
I know.
We have the hemp juice from the hemp plants. So, I mean, that has CBDA in it, so which is the acid form of the CBD. As well as all the other polyphenols and stuff like that, which is just super nutritious. So, and you're using oat milk, so it's not like like an animal milk. So like a plant milk.
Yeah.
That combination of the matcha and the
we also have hemp milk too.
Yeah.
And hemp milk. Yeah.
Hemp milk.
I mean, dang. And I know it costs a lot. So like just to even juice like a gallon of the, I know it costs like $250. So it's not a cheap endeavor.
Right.
But I'd like to see things kind of continue in that way where we can make things available to people that they can't get elsewhere.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Like,
well, since we're all broke and we're not making any money, I think it's doable.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not going to get rich off of it, but we
No.
might be able to keep the doors open.
Yeah,
and
but
I'm excited about like
I'm not
we're
doing
growing
anything for the
ginger,
money.
garlic, turmeric,
Right.
horseradish.
Right.
And then I do want to look at all this like foraged, I'd like to get more into foraged formulations, and we were talking about making the dandelion coffee this morning. And,
the mullein.
and the mullein. Oh yeah, you made me
mullein.
that mullein
Oh my
coffee.
God,
That was
mullei's
really good
amazing.
too.
Mullein, and, like so good for your lung health. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the other day, I was making some coffee with some mullein teas, and the drip thing, and it tasted really good.
That's good.
I was like,
know.
"Dang."
I was like, this is really. We're like, we gotta roll this product.
Yeah,
up.
yeah. So
Yeah.
mullein helps like thin any mucus in your lungs and such like that. But it's a wonderful weed. I mean, the weeds are amazing around here.
Mhm.
Honestly, right now the garlic mustard's coming up. I mean, that one spreads quite a bit, but it was brought over as a food source.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just I'm going to continue to love plants, and I'm happy to shift my attention to other plants. You know, there's enough plants to focus on. You know, let them have their, you know, follow the money. It's always about the money. I'm going to do things not for the money, and but there's so many amazing plants. I could go into so many right now. Like we have a moringa tree in Florida.
I know.
So this moringa tree is called the tree of life. Wait, it's not the tree of life. It's the miracle tree. Every single part of that tree is useful. Like moringa oil is better than olive oil, and it lasts even way longer than olive oil. The leaves themselves are a complete plant protein, you know, with all your essential amino acids in it, vitamins A, C, E. I mean, I mean, civilizations lived up the freaking moringa tree.
I know.
I mean, if I could grow it, your mom sent me the seeds because I'm like, I want to grow it. Like, I mean, there's just so many plants.
I know.
I'm so excited about it, you know. So yeah. I mean,
and you don't need a ton. I mean, we have one moringa tree in Florida that supplies all our moringa for up here.
Harvest it like once a year.
A couple of times a year we harvest it, but it's like we could be harvesting it many more times.
Yeah, organic. For sure.
So you don't need you just don't need a ton of plants.
No,
you know, kind of that square foot gardening kind of.
There's another plant like so. There's a plant in Japan, or shiso perilla. I have it. So there's so many plants I have gotten in. Oh my god! But this plant, like they use it all the time, and it's really prevalent. Like it spreads and stuff. So I'll probably grow it in a bucket. But the leaves itself are antibacterial and anti-parasitic, and they serve it with all their meats and their seafoods. I mean, there's this whole thing about everybody having parasites. Yeah. We don't treat them like. But they, as a culture, they treat it with everything they eat.
Right.
They're eating their medicine with their food.
Huh.
And
that's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, let's just go to, you know, Wendy's now. There's just so much.
Right. Yes. No, it's true.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I think we're probably at time.
I could give you 2 minutes.
Okay, one more
closing thoughts.
Okay, 2 minutes. These are our closing thoughts.
Personally, no. Personally, another weed that's just so super amazing. So it's like a succulent weed that grows in poor soil and stuff like that. But it has the highest omega-3 ALA content of any plant, like alpha linoleic.
It's very tasty. It's very they're very tender. And
what is it?
Purslane. It's
like that succulent weed.
It's that little weed you see growing in driveways everywhere.
No way.
Yeah.
It's super.
You get I mean, you know, if dogs weren't peeing on it every 2 seconds, but you can harvest that and chop it up, put it in salad.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But yeah. Closing thoughts.
Yeah.
Could you do you have anything to leave to anybody that's watching?
Eat your weeds.
Eat your weeds.
Eat your weeds.
Eat your weeds. Smoke them if you have them.
Well, people smoke mullein. They smoke all
for sure.
Of stuff.
Yeah, that's the one counter intuitive thing is that mullein was used as an inhalant for lung issues, to solve lung issues. Right. Like you're supposed to smoke this mullein.
Okay. But you can smoke it, you can drink it as a tea. You know?
Right.
But definitely like so many plants to be excited about and so many cool things. I mean, I don't know. I feel like where we are, things evolve as they're meant to be, and we feel what's needed in the moment, and you know, that's what we do, you know. But nobody's got a big ego. Nobody's trying to do anything other than, like, I don't know, follow their heart, really.
Right.
That's what it feels like.
And that's what I love about you, Jane. I just think you're amazing. You are the heart and soul of Hempstock Farms. That's the reason people go out. You know, 9 out of 10 people go out to Hempstock Farms to find Jane and to sit down and talk to Jane and get just talk to you about life. You know, I think we do healing in our shops, the boys at their booths, at the farmers market. Like, I think we do healing just by listening.
I think we have magical conversations with magical people
in
the magical shop.
We do magical conversations with magical people in a magical shop. This is so true.
Yeah.
We'll end with that. So thanks for those of you that caught this live. Thank you for joining us. For those of you that are catching this later, catch us. We're moving. So I'm picking up soon here. I'm picking up the Highwood Market on Wednesday night. So I'll be at Market in Highwood if you want to come see me Wednesday nights at the Highwood Farmers Market every week. That's on Wednesdays. So because of that, we're now moving Hemp and Healing Grassroots to Thursday nights. And
Are we keeping 7 or is that different?
let's keep 7. I just kept flip-flopping back and forth. I think we need, I don't know, should we keep 7 or 7:30? 7:30 is nice in the sense that we're almost closed, but
Thursday nights?
Make
Either
a call,
way.
guys.
let's do 7. I'm going to make the call. 7 o'clock. We're going to 7 o'clock Thursday night. So next week it'll be on Thursday if you want to catch us live streaming on YouTube is basically in my LinkedIn account if you want to go get a LinkedIn.
We are live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Join us on StreamYard. And then
Yes.
the replay is always available on YouTube. Hopefully other platforms soon.
Yeah. And if you join us on StreamYard, which is that link, that's a StreamYard and then has a bunch of letters and numbers at the end. If you join us at that link, make sure you raise your hand or click on something, let Leon know that you're there and that if you want to come on camera. We haven't done that piece of this podcast yet, but we have the ability to bring you guys at home onto camera through your phones or your laptops, or you don't have to share your view. You could just come on the phone. And we haven't really done this kind of call-in interactive piece, but I think it would be super cool to add to the program. So I'm hoping it kind of organically starts. So that's your invitation to join us on StreamYard so that you can come on camera and be a part of the conversation. So thanks for joining us. Have a great week.